Hello and welcome to Come With Us, a podcast to meet all your fantasy needs. I'm Sussy Nunez.
And I'm Reshea Kelly. And each week we dive into the tempting world of books, seductive romance, and a sprinkle of spice.
Hi, sinners, and welcome to episode 27 of your favorite podcast, Come With Us. I'm Sussy Nunez, your favorite Latina host. By the way, that's self-proclaimed. I gave myself that title. And this week I'm grateful for New York. Honestly, this city is just magical and so dirty at the same time. I love it. It's like my mind. What about you, Reshea?
Well, I'm Reshea Kelly, and this week I'm grateful for the fact that the early 2000s fashion is coming back in because I am so excited.
Look at her. She's ready.
I have saved this puka shell necklace since the 7th grade, which was in 2003.
Good job. Look at you.
Look at me.
Reshea, this week, finally, if you remember, Sinner, on episode 0 of this podcast, we talked about a book that was driving me crazy.
Mhm.
And I said that was one of my top 3 of the year 2023. And that one is Poking Around. We're talking about it today. I'm so excited. Honestly, I've been waiting for this episode for so long. Are you ready?
I am very ready. I'm so ready.
Let's do it.
Alrighty.
So you're going to give us the synopsis or what?
Mhm. Yeah, I can absolutely do that. I'll give you Pucking Around in 60 seconds. Shay's shitty synopses. I'm going to tell you what it's about, but I'm not going to do a good job. All right. Rachel Price is the daughter of a rock god who wants to make her own way in the world on her own merit instead of using daddy's name to get by in life. In the prequel, she has one amazing night in a hotel with the man of her dreams and never catches his name before ghosting him before he wakes up. Fast forward to now, where she gets a last-minute opportunity for a prestigious internship position in her medical field, sports medicine, with the Jacksonville Rays hockey team. After a bumble with Mr. Grumpy Gills, Caleb Sanford, and a purple tentacle dildo on the asphalt of the airport pickup line, Rachel gets settled into her new apartment next door to him. There's a sexual tension there for sure, and she thinks she might be falling for him. And then she meets the rest of the team and realizes that her dream guy from the one-night stand is none other than Caleb's best friend and hockey player, Jake Compton. These men eventually take her to Paris in the janitor's closet of a nightclub. And if you don't know what that means, you should have been listening to Chelsea's episode. Was it Chelsea? It was Chelsea.
No, it was no. It was, Camilla. Camilla.
Oh, it was Camilla. So it was like season 1 finale. Take them to Paris. In the janitor's closet of a nightclub, and then for some reason she catches feelings for the aloof Scandinavian goalie Ilmari Kinnunen. Rachel realizes she isn't meant to be in a monogamous relationship and that she can be happy with all 3 of them if they can just get on board. Turns out Caleb has been in love with his best friend Jake for like ever, and Ilmari is so obsessed with Rachel that he's willing to give it a shot. There's some drama, a lot of experimental sex with all combinations of M, and F, and after some serious soul searching and talking with the Jacksonville Rays PR and HR teams, Rachel, Caleb, Jake, and Ilmari live happily ever after.
That was great.
I forgot to add. So I want you to tell everybody. What are the kinks and tropes of this?
I'm not even gonna freaking try. We have so many. No, like I think Emily Rath just took a year of her life to do research and put like as many kinks as she could in that freaking book.
That makes sense. Yeah,
I'm not even gonna try. Honestly, like
she's a doctor, so she's used to research.
Yes,
well, she has a doctorate.
I think if you can think about kinks, like out of your like the first one that comes to your mind, you're gonna maybe find it in that book. Probably, there's so many. I don't think it's a book that has all the kinks in the world because that's impossible. Yeah. But she did a great job.
She really did.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so what made you read this book in the first place? Like, how'd you hear about it, and what made you go, all right, I'll do that?
If I'm honest with you, I don't remember. I don't know if it was because I had it on my Kindle, and I don't know, or if I saw a video on TikTok. I don't think so.
Mm.
I don't know. I cannot tell you for my life what was it, but I'm so glad I did because this book was life changing for me. What about you, Reshea?
So you had suggested it to me, and I was very new to, like, I had jumped headfirst into the smut genre, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I went,
Haunting Adeline.
yeah. So like, I had read like Twilight and 50 Shades of Grey in high school and college, right? And then didn't pick up a book for like ever. And then I read all of ACOTAR, and I was like, oh, that was hot. And then I read Haunting and Hunting Adeline. I was like, oh, we're gonna go into smut. We're just gonna dive into the deep end. And then you
Yeah.
were like, let's. Okay, so you've done like the fucked up shit kind of book. Now let me introduce you to the happiest, fluffiest, most adorable, least dark thing I've read in my entire life, but it's still gonna rival Haunting and Hunting Adeline in terms of pure smut on page. And then you handed me, because I was visiting you, and you handed me this absolute
Big
thick
ass
girl,
titty. Yeah.
big ass titties book. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, that's a lot. But I got it read, and I'm so glad because it was my first reverse harem / white shoes. And it was my first
It was
like
your first?
and it was
I
my
didn't
first
know that.
it was my first contemporary, well, I guess you would consider Haunting Adeline a contemporary
Yeah.
romance.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
A
yeah.
contemporary dark romance. This was like my first non-dark romance, I guess. Contemporary not dark
And no
romance.
fantasy.
No fantasy, like just like regular people doing regular things. And I was like, oh, I thought I would hate reading about regular people, but I did not. It was great.
Yes, she basically put here, Susie wouldn't stop telling me how amazing it was.
It's
And
true.
honestly, yeah.
For real.
This
I'm just
book
gonna leave it out.
is till this day life changing for me.
Mhm.
It's one of those books that I don't want to get back to it. I don't want to reread it because not yet. It's not the time. Like,
Mhm.
you know, when you have like perfect times to do things, right
Yeah.
now it's not the time, but it's gonna be soon, and I cannot
Okay.
wait because I in the whole series, not only Pucking Around, then you have like Pucking Around, Pucking Ever After Volume 1, Pucking Wild, Pucking Ever After Volume 2, and Pucking Sweet is coming out this year, and I read them all, and I can assure you, yes, 5 stars. And I don't say 5 stars lightly though. I'm always
Yeah.
on the 3 to 4 and 5 stars.
I don't think I've given a single book out of the ones that we've discussed yet 5
Me
stars.
neither. Me neither.
I think the highest I've gone is like 4.5. I think the only thing I gave 5 stars to was Silver Flames, and that was because I was relating hard. Fantasy does that to you.
Nesta does that to you.
Nesta does that to you.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. So, okay, let's talk about why Emily Rath is the best author ever. Just in terms of personhood and quality of
Building
writing.
character though. Building
So good.
character. It it's so difficult to find someone that can understand the balance between describing things, describing a person, describing a situation, describing a scene. She just knows the
Hmm.
perfect balance for everything. Like, it's not, remember in the last episode that we did was
Highest
no
bidder, madame.
a few episodes before, we did Eyes on Me, and you were
Hmm.
saying like, I just don't like how she repeats himself every time that she's like, she's not my sister, she's not my sister, and you didn't like how the author did that work.
Yeah.
With Emily Rath, you don't have that. Like,
No.
no.
I don't think there's any. I mean, I did read this last summer, so it's been a minute since I've read it, but I don't recall a point in reading it where I was like, oh, I wish you'd stop using that word. Because I know all authors have like that. They have like
Yeah, their
little
thing.
idiosyncrasies, their,
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that word right. They're little quirks that you're like, God, that's a little bit annoying. I don't remember feeling that way about any of this Big Titties book. And you know what's funny?
What?
This book is just as thick as all of these Sarah J. Maas books that you and I are reading. But how often have we been complaining about how long the Sarah J. Maas books are? And this one, I'm like, perfect number of pages, no notes.
There's
It's
someone on
beautifully
TikTok
edited.
that left a comment on my video. It says something like, "Oh my god, I would never read that book. It's so big." And I'm like, babes, every page is so worth it. I
I don't
promise
remember there
you, you'll
being
love it.
anything. I don't remember there being anything that was like, could have done without that. Man, that was a bit long.
At the end, for me, there was a part
Okay.
where I was exhausted already. I was like, okay, I love the book. Yes, I want to
Mhm.
know the ending, but like the part when she goes to LA, they are convincing everyone that it's okay for them to be a throuple, or no, was it 4 people?
Polycule, a
A
quadruple,
polycule, yeah,
a
a polycule.
polycule.
That it
Yeah.
was okay to be a polycule, and then they propose, and then the wedding. uh, the
Mhm.
proposal to me was like a bit unnecessary. Like, yes, love the big gesture, love the support of the fans and the jerseys and whatever, but it's like, I don't know. It was.
I didn't hate that part. I think the only tedious
I didn't
part
hate
I
it though.
can
It was tedious for me.
Yeah, I think the tedious part for me wasn't that, because I love a grand gesture so much,
Mm.
especially when it's merited. Not like why am I blanking on that character's name in Losers, the artsy one.
Vincent.
Not like
Yeah,
Vin going all out just to be like, I love you.
I love
Like
you. I've been stalking you forever. I love you.
like how are you going to top this for a marriage proposal?
Absolutely.
Anyways,
He will need to buy her the Eiffel Tower or something. Yeah.
I could do something with an Eiffel Tower. Anyways,
I mean, they have done it before, so.
I mean,
Yeah.
but like, I love a grand gesture when it's merited. Like, they're asking you to marry them. Absolutely, make it a grand gesture. I love that. I love that it was huge and that they got all the fans involved and everything. What was a bit tedious for me was that space between when they were worried that it was going to be a PR nightmare, and she just like went off grid and wasn't answering her phone, and then she was just kind of moping around her parents' house, and then like getting to the proposal part, I was like, okay, I don't know why, I just wasn't in the mood to experience that part
Mm,
of her journey. I was just like,
mm.
okay, let's just get to the fun part again.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. That's how I felt with her being Elaine, like not knowing anything about them, then meeting the owner of the club, and then
Oh,
going to the game, and then the dad with the concerts. Like, I don't care.
it's a lot.
I really don't care. Like, it was so much, and because when I read, I watched the movie in my mind. It
Hmm.
was like, I think I was overload with
Mm.
so much
There
that
was a
was
lot
happening.
going on. It
Yeah.
was like the opening games of the Olympics. Like the opening ceremony
Honestly,
where it's just
honestly,
everything's going on.
that is a great way to put it. Exactly. Yes. It
Mhm.
was just, I didn't know what to imagine, where to concentrate. It was like, nar.
Mhm.
Of course, I love my guys, and everything they do is perfect. We're not talking about it yet specifically, but
Mhm.
there's a part in this book that I can say is on my top 3, and it has nothing to do with smut.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You
I'm
know,
excited to hear about this.
when Rachel goes crazy because it's out, like they're together and whatever,
Mhm.
uh, or people know that she's with Jake, or no, I don't remember the thing. And then Caleb, that he was gay or queer, whatever. There's a moment when she goes crazy and she's like, "I'll leave. Like, I cannot do this," and blah blah blah. And Caleb is like, "Bitch, if you want to leave, fucking leave."
Yeah.
And I loved that so much because we didn't get the usual, "No, you're gonna leave us,
Yeah. I love
we
that
love you
too.
so much." Dude, I remember, and I was like, that's such a me move. That's such a me move. And because Caleb is such a cat, and I'm like, we're the same person. I loved that part because you don't
Yeah.
see that in books. You always see
Yeah.
the begging.
Yeah. She shakes her head. No, coach was right. I've been running around making all these decisions, hurting everyone I come into contact with, jeopardizing everything. You've worked so hard to build all this, Jake, she said, gesturing around. I can't be the one to tear it down. Jake looks around incredulous. What? This fucking house? I'll tear it down. I don't give a fuck about this house, Rachel. I care about the people in it. You and Kay and Mars and the dog. And yes, I really love my coffee maker. Shit, in my home gym, he adds. But I can get a new coffee maker, he said quickly. I can't get a new you. Mars stepped into the room behind me, looking sharply around. No, he says tonelessly. Rachel looks up, seeing him standing there. Ilmari, she sighs, shaking her head. Wait, I say. Everybody fucking stop. Rachel, we're not going to play this game with you. At least I know I'm not. I will not spend a single moment of my time convincing you to stay. Don't be an asshole, Jake growls at me. I'm not being an asshole, I counter. I'm knowing my own fucking self-worth. I don't beg the people I love to love me back. Jake, get off your fucking knees and stop being a pussy. If she wants to go, let her go. If she wants to stay, let her stay. We don't try to convince her either way. Agreed, says Mars, crossing his arms over his bare chest. Jake is at literal war with himself, the soft marshmallow side of him wanting to melt for her and stay on his knees. Then there's the obstinate, confident god of a man who rules a hockey rink. He wants to flip her over and spank her ass raw for daring to even think of leaving us. With a groan, he stumbles to his feet and steps back, his body tense as he comes over to stand by me. Good boy, I say. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, he mutters, his face a mask of agony. So then he says, then he goes, you want to go, Rachel? Keep packing. Mars here will drive you to the airport, the bus depot, the cruise dock. Just tell him where and he'll take you. You want to stay? We'll be downstairs.
And then Jake says, if she leaves us, I'll never forgive you. Yes, you will.
He goes, you think so? I do. Why? Because if she leaves us, she didn't love us enough to stay, respect us enough to let us make our own decisions, or want us enough to fight through this storm. My hurricane is the fucking storm. When she remembers that fact, she'll come down those stairs and stir us all up. Until then, give me the fucking remote. We're watching Great British Bake Off.
And then they have amazing sex.
That was like the main character, Rachel, was trying to do a I'm not good enough for you trope. And the guys were like, no.
I don't fuck with that. And I love the fact that Caleb, it had to be Caleb because it had to be him. It wasn't, if it wasn't him, it had to be Ilmari. It could have been Ilmari, but no, it was
because Jake was
Caleb,
on his
and it was
knees.
perfect. Yeah, no, Jake was ready to literally leave the team and everything if he had to. But perfect, because she had that in that moment, she had the perfect opportunity to be a regular author or I know what my characters are. I know who they are going to become, and I'm gonna give them what they deserve. And that was a moment. Like, it was perfect.
Yeah. Speaking of knowing her characters, she does such a great job of creating 3 really different personalities. Harley LaRue also did a really good job at this, but I've heard so many complaints about reverse harem romance novels on TikTok and stuff where the main complaint is like they've just had the same personality. Like it's a girl and 2 guys and both the guys were essentially the same. Which is understandable because it's one person creating this, and so it would make sense that one person is just not that broad in creating characters. But I think Emily did such a great job of making sure that, like, before she even wrote the story, I feel like she probably thought about her characters and gave them individual personalities. I'm imagining like a spreadsheet. They've got their signs at the beginning. She knows what their favorite ice cream flavors are, what TV shows they like to watch. She knows exactly how each one would respond in stressful situations. Like Caleb's going to be the one that puts a wall up. Ilmari's going to be the one that's cool under stress. Jake's going to be the one that freaks out a little bit. You know, like she knows exactly how each of these people are similar and different before she even starts writing. And I think that makes it even better because it's not repetitive.
I'm not comparing myself to Emily Rath in any way. I'm just going to say this because I've seen authors do the same thing and I've done it. I like to write. You guys know at some point something is going to come out. And when I create characters, I create vision boards. I create lives. I create jobs. I create, like, they are a person, because it's possible, like, you work on it so deeply. That's why when people say, I have heard that before too on TikTok, they're the same person. Not one in particular. I haven't read the first one, but I can say that. But I just think, like, maybe the author gets a bit lazy on when it comes to creating a persona
Mm-hmm.
that is so different from the other characters in the book.
Yeah.
And she's not lazy, baby. She said, Ilmari is Ilmari, Caleb is Caleb, Jake is Jake. And then we get Rachel, that is so Rachel too.
Yeah, and then it feels like everything is deliberate. I mean, even with like the Akatar series, it feels like the Morrigan being queer was something that was thrown in after the fact. Everything feels so deliberate about these characters. Like Emily knew from the very beginning that Jake had a weird thing about pelicans. Or that
Yeah.
Ilmari was going to have a dad who he had a bad relationship with, who was going to be somehow integral to his relationship with Rachel. I feel like everything, she already had this whole picture in her head, and then she just had to
Absolutely.
write it down. It wasn't like she was writing and then going, oh, you know what, we're going to throw this in here and create a bit of a plot hole where like things
Mm-mm.
that were previously said didn't make sense with this new information. It never felt like that. Can we talk about the fact that Emily interacts with her followers and her readers so much? Like,
I Every time I share something, she's like either commenting on the DMs or like liking it or something, and it's so nice
yeah.
because you feel, I don't know if it is the same for you, Sinner, but for me, I feel closer to the characters because
Mhm.
the person that created them acknowledges me. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah, especially with independent authors, I get so impressed when I see them being so active on social media because, I mean, that's hard for me to do. And I have a way less demanding job that requires
Mm-hmm.
social media presence. Um, Emily and Harley and all these other independent authors are writing, editing, uh gathering arc readers, doing all of the promotional stuff on their own. They're doing everything by themselves, and then to also be present on social media, which is such a draining thing to do. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel burdened by my phone. And then I don't know how they do it. It's impressive to me.
Absolutely. Also, Harley LaRue is following me on Instagram, and they like my content, like
Like
my
your outfit
outfits and
contents and
stuff.
everything.
Dude,
It's gonna happen.
I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel, but
We're
like
just
I feel phenomenal. But
cultivating a group of author friends. It's gonna be great.
yes, the fact that she gave each and every one of the characters in the freaking book, not only the main characters, but everyone, a zodiac sign
Yeah.
that she is a doctor though. Like, she did the research. There's a moment when Jake says something like, I'm a double cancer, bitch. Of course I'm gonna be an emotional
Emotional.
wreck. And I'm like, this is so good.
I love that.
It is just, she knew what she was giving to the girly pops. She just knew, you know?
I I really love it because uh just like her as a person seems like somebody who is so inclusive and so non-judgmental, because for people who are highly educated, holding PhDs and master's degrees and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it feels like they condescend people who enjoy astrology now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Absolutely.
oh, you think the stars and where they were in the sky have anything to do with your personality?
Mm-hmm.
Go to therapy. It feels like Emily is just like, oh, I'm hella smart. And also, astrology is fun. I love it.
If you would have to
Mhm.
describe Jake in a word or two, which one would they be, or which one would it be?
Golden retriever boyfriend.
That's three, but I love it. Okay. What about Caleb?
Can I do four words?
Go ahead. Go
Rough
ahead.
around the edges. Just rough around the
Very
edges.
soft on the inside.
He's rough around the edges. We're gonna hyphenate, so it's three words. Rough around the edges. And that.
And very soft on the inside. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, definitely. And rough around the edges also pertains to his dick because he's got piercings.
Please tell me that you put it around here at some point, please, because
No, that's the thing is like I've totally forgot. Like, we got to talk about that. We'll talk about that next. Okay, so then if I had to describe Ilmari, I
yeah.
would describe Ilmari as your teddy bear. Like he's so quiet, and then he's so protective, but he's just so okay.
I know.
But we just got done doing like a quick wrap up of each of their personalities. Now let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about their kinky sexy sides. Susie, what's like the thing about Jake?
He loves praise. Like, there's a moment when Caleb, nothing happened. They're interacting in the kitchen. One of the best scenes in the book, by the way. And Caleb says, "You're a good girl" to Rachel at some point, and Jake twitches, like he's like, and then he's like, "Oh, you like that?" And then oh my god, it was so good. So yes, definitely, he's a golden retriever that loves when his master tells him he's a good boy.
Yeah.
He's also, I will say, he's a switch, but not so much. He could be a brat, but he's definitely a good boy, no doubt. About
Yeah.
Caleb, master
What's
energy.
Caleb's thing?
Master energy. Uh, only thinking about it makes things to me. Master energy loves degradation, but not on like the bad side. He's more into praising degradation. That if you know me,
What a good little
yep.
slut.
Let me gather my thoughts again.
Sorry. I didn't even try and I melted your brain. I didn't even say it with a sexy voice. I just said it.
Yeah, I know. If this goes out, if I put this in the podcast and you're a guy and we go on a date or something, or if you're a girly and we go on a date, don't use this against me.
Yeah, that's cheating.
If I have to choose one character for the whole book, it will be Caleb. And not just because, but like, honestly, one of the number one reasons is his penis has so many piercings. Like, his
Oh,
dick
how?
is decorated.
It's decorated.
It is.
Your body's a temple. Might as well decorate it.
Oh my god. And we know because Rachel tells us, and then Jake, that you feel everything.
It comes pre-ribbed for your pleasure. Oh my god, like an Ice Planet Barbarian dick.
I was gonna say yes, and it has textures, and that texture does things. Yeah. Way back.
Sorry, wrong book. So yes,
Yes,
his dick ribbed for your pleasure.
it's, and we know you feel it because Jake and Rachel make
lots of comments.
Yeah. And then Ilmari, I will put it honestly, very, very, very controversial opinion. Unpopular. I'm ready for it.
I don't know what you're gonna say. I'm excited and worried.
I fell in love with Ilmari on Pocky Never After Volume 1. On Poking Around, Ilmari to me, he was nice. He's cute. I wanted him to be, all of them together. He didn't, like, the first time he was with Rachel, the thing that was like, whoa, was bent over. That's it. And I was like, no.
He is a vanilla. He fucks vanilla. But
rough vanilla, but yeah.
But he doesn't have a refractory period.
Hi, Sinner. This is Susie from the future, and I'm editing right now, and I realized that I said something that is actually not true, and I want to clarify it. I said that Ilmari wasn't kinky enough, or he didn't like have enough kinks. That's not true. While I was editing, I remembered that he actually had a breathing kink. I found an article on BuzzFeed talking about this specific kink, and I want to tell you one of the definitions that I saw that I think is the most accurate one. I define breeding as multiple rounds of unprotected sex where at least one participant party is purposefully trying to get the other pregnant, either in a fantasy or a scene, with or without the other party's awareness of the purpose, where a resulting pregnancy or the danger of a pregnancy is as much the erotic engine as focused as it is the goal. Also, I will add to this that he has a fetish. Just wanted to clarify that. That's all for now.
So I think the
I mean,
impressive part was that he could just keep going.
if only penetration was the thing that I'm here for, I will say yes, but I'm not. So
Did you know that there are some women out there who can have an orgasm just from penetration? I have a friend. I have a friend, a close friend, and she tells me that it's like super easy for her to get off like just penetration and she doesn't have to try that hard.
orgasms by penetration, they're good, but in my opinion, when it's combined,
Mm-hmm. It just doesn't happen more than 3 times in my whole life where there's like no external stimulation and just internal stimulation, and then you're like, oh, I think it's happening, woohoo, and then it's like a deeper orgasm, which is great, but it's one of those ones where you're like, I want more. Whereas opposed to like when you have external stimulation, at least for me and for other people I've talked to about this, it's more of like an intense um surface level, like over the whole, like the skin of your body, as opposed to like deep within your core. And it's one of those ones that's like, okay, I need a minute, like, ooh, stop. And so like when you combine those two, that's amazing. So it's great that Ilmari can just like keep going forever, because there are men who finish and then they're like, okay, I'm done, and the girl's like, okay.
yep.
So it's great for him,
Yep.
but again, it was kind of vanilla otherwise.
And I'm here for it. I really love him. Like, Ilmari has my heart forever.
Always such a
But
sweetheart.
not for real. Oh my god, I love him so much. But in that book, in the first one, it was an it for me. And again, he added substance to the relationship, and his neutrality was phenomenal to me. That's the part that I loved the most about him. He's just very neutral, very Scandinavian. And I love that. If you know me, I love that. But the sex part, the kinky part, was just not kinky enough for me.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so glad that Rachel had Caleb, because
Mhm.
Caleb adds, that's why they're a polycule.
Mhm.
Caleb adds what Jake and Ilmari are missing, and they add something that Caleb is missing. So it's perfect.
Mhm.
That's why would you choose? Sinners, we love you so freaking much. Thank you for watching and or listening.
Because you can't get enough of us, be sure to follow us on all of the social media platforms. Our handle is at Come With Us Pod. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Threads. We also have a website. So if you're ever like, oh, I can't find them, you can go to comewithuspod.com, and there's links to all of our social media platforms there. You can also send us a story or a message if you like. You can interact with us there, and we would absolutely love it if wherever you're listening to or watching this, you subscribe to us and you left a 5-star review. All you got to do is click 5 stars. It's easy as that. And be sure to send this episode to a fellow smut lover in your life. Spread the word. We would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes. I also want to add that if you could DM us or comment if you're on YouTube about which of all the smutty scenes were your favorite, we would love to know. Like, really, because that is the tea. We want the tea. Also, who is your favorite character from the whole series? Not only the first book, but like the whole series. We love you, Sinner. Thank you so much. And sinners, you've been good little angels. Thank you for listening. And remember, stay wicked, stay wild, and keep reading. We love you. Bye.
Bye.